AOC is destruction for the Democrats. The more powerful she and the squad become, the more they lose support nationwide. Do Democrats understand this? And moreover, it seems certain that everybody is afraid of AOC because they're popular on social media. Chuck Schumer's afraid that she's going to challenge him and try to knock him out of office. Whatever you may think about Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, I don't really question their intelligence. I question their overall direction that they would take the country. I don't think AOC is very smart. AOC and members of the squad had videos going viral of them walking with their hands behind their backs. They were arrested, and I'm putting arrested in quotation marks. My understanding on the arrests is they were not arrested for protesting. They were arrested for refusing to leave the road, thereby guaranteeing that they were arrested. And then they pretended that they had been handcuffed in what was just such a stupid moment, even for Democrats. AOC walking alongside of Ilhan Omar and other members of the squad, pretending that they had been arrested, walking with their hands behind their backs. I'm surprised they didn't throw themselves on the ground and claim that the police were also beating them. AOC is destruction for the Democrats. The more powerful she and the squad become, the more they lose support nationwide. Do Democrats understand this? And moreover, it seems certain that everybody is afraid of AOC because they're popular on social media. Chuck Schumer's afraid that she's going to challenge him and try to knock him out of office. Whatever you may think about Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, I don't really question their intelligence. I question their overall direction that they would take the country. I don't think AOC is very smart. And I don't think she is capable of really understanding any of the implications of the decisions that she's making. Partly, I think that factors in that she's young. And this is the bigger issue that we've talked about with Democrats in general. Most of them don't understand basic business, even inside of the economic team at the Biden White House.
Basically none of them, just to be basically none of them.
2.4 years is the average amount of time that the Biden economic advisors have actually spent in business. How did the Democrats, if at all, because I watched that video, and I'm curious what you would say about this, Buck. When I watched that video of her walking fake handcuffed, I think to myself, how in the world do Democrats divorce themselves from the AOCs of the world? Or even can they? Is she the future of the Democrat Party, or are they going to kick them to the curb at some point, recognizing that they are destroying the party from within? How would you, what is their plan here?
I think she's the ideological vanguard of the Democrat Party now. I think that Nancy Pelosi actually has AOC envy a lot of the time because AOC can drive. Now, Pelosi has more power, obviously, and has more connections and more political cunning, but from being in office for decades.
Yes.
While, again, her husband's so good at playing the stock market, it's like, I should have invested in the Paul Pelosi fund all this time. I had no idea this guy was...
I'm glad you bring that up. Can we just all agree that it's pretty crazy that all of these congressmen and women can insider trade and it's just totally accepted? I don't know. When you go, and
Pelosi fought the bill, Clay, that would have made it illegal.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't even see this as remotely partisan. She's super wealthy. She could easily buy index funds and sit back and not need to buy and sell individual stocks. Yet her timing, and this has been the case for lots of people, Republicans and Democrats, I don't even think this is partisan. It seems like everybody should have to put their money into index funds when they are sitting in positions of prominence like this. Is that not something that almost everybody would agree with?
Oh, I anybody who's being fair would agree with it, but the people that have been beating the S&P
markets.
500
Yes.
year in and year out, the people that suddenly are brilliant investors. I mean, look at some of the Pelosi family land deals in the state of California. Look into the history. You'll say, wait a second. So it's almost like they know there's going to be more funding for either a rail project or there's going to be a highway extension. All of a sudden, right? I mean, you see this happening all the time. But remember, this was true of the Clinton family. It is true of the Biden family. It's true of the Pelosi family. If you are a Democrat who is of value to the party, they will protect you no matter how corrupt you are. You can literally lie under oath and not face perjury charges like Bill Clinton. You can make videos of yourself distributing, using cocaine, crack, and having prostitutes and making porno videos and illegally purchasing a firearm. Where's the federal firearms investigation into Hunter Biden? You're not allowed to do that. They always talk about gun laws. Hunter Biden, as a habitual drug user and a person in possession of controlled illegal substances, not allowed to buy a firearm, but they protect them. You see, they protect these Democrats no matter what they do. Pelosi, you could have video of Pelosi's husband meeting with, the head of company XYZ saying, hey, we're about to have a merger in, 2 months. Get in now, market moving information. And you would have people going on CNN saying, oh, it's very complicated to know what's really considered inside information. And, this is the January 6th insurrection up next. They don't care. They frankly don't care. And that's why nothing ever changes with this.
I think a big part of the insider trading thing is your average American doesn't really know that much about insider trading and how valuable it could be, and how much information impacts your ability to buy and sell stocks at appropriate times and be able to take advantage of it. And it is amazing how Nancy Pelosi and her family for like 40 years has had impeccable timing when it comes to buying and selling individual stock. And I'm not saying that politicians shouldn't be able to invest in stock markets. They certainly should. But they can buy index funds. I mean, most of the money that I have is in S&P 500 index funds. I'm not buying and selling individual stocks, although I will apologize to Buck because some of the stock recommendations that I've given him of late have not, they look good for a while,
right, man.
in my defense.
Just glad that, can't really afford the vacations the same way, but I can always crash at the Clay Travis Beach House. That's the good news.
Buck, I'd like to apologize to Carrie. They were planning a big honeymoon, and then I told them, "Hey, I got a couple of stocks that I'm buying on an individual level here, and now you're going to be going to New York City over to New Jersey on the honeymoon. So that's on me.
Live and learn, folks. So we got this.
Newark's nice. Newark's nice in January. Let's be honest.
Gosh. So we have AOC with the fake arrest yesterday. And I would just note that I don't even think it doesn't matter even that it's fake because the optics of it are supposed to be that she's standing up to the man.
And also, Buck, lots of people are only going to see 5-second clips of that because she's an Instagram influencer, which I'm happy to say is starting to catch on a little bit. But people don't want depth, right? They're going to watch the 5 seconds. They'll cut it off even before she does the fist power sign and just clip it and say AOC got arrested for protesting, and you get 5 seconds and you don't even see that she wasn't even handcuffed.
It's amazing how much of the Democrat policy and just ideological core boils down to envy, and your poor decisions aren't the problem. It's other people standing in the way of a government that will bring about utopia. That's the problem. I mean, what does AOC stand for that would actually improve the average American's life in a clear way that would not have a massive downside, right? I mean, this is what we saw, for example, with lockdowns. We're saving lives. Yeah. They actually didn't save lives. They ruined lives. And you just saw the latest analysis is that there was an increase in 30% fatal drug overdoses in 2020 because of lockdowns. We all know it. So tens of thousands of people died for their idiocy. What is the idea that they would push forward if they could? The Green New Deal? Does anyone think, how would that make anyone's life better? You have to believe. And remember, AOC's office was the one that put forward the Green New Deal template. Remember, we talked about the Green New Deal. No, that was AOC who put that forward. The Instagram influencer of Congress. And hat tip Clay. And she did this, and then people said, well, we have to rebuild every structure in America to make it green energy compliant. We'd have to eliminate cows and cow farts because of this is real. That was in it.
Methane.
Cow farts,
right.
Methane was in the Green New Deal template document. And what we've seen is they keep pushing this stuff. The public realizes what it is and they back off a little bit, but they think that incrementally over time they can get there, which is why PBS had a special a couple of days ago about edible insects. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting, everybody, okay?
Yep.
Edible insects. Get used to it, peasants. This is what the Green New Deal people. Pelosi's going to be on a private jet eating caviar, but maybe she'll sprinkle some cricket dust over you as you're starving in the streets. That is the future they want for you, and it's true. It's real.
I look at it, and that's kind of the question that I think the answer to the question of how do they divorce themselves from AOC is utter destruction at the polls. And I believe that 2022 is going to be big. But if Republicans do a good job of picking the right nominee, and we're going to have a monster-long discussion about who the nominee is going to be, because I think a lot of people are going to run, it should be utter destruction in 2024. And an ass-kicking is clarifying.
I hope so. I'll make a prediction right now. If I were advising AOC, which now wouldn't that be fascinating? But if I were advising AOC, I would say maybe one more term in Congress, come out, get paid $15 million a year to have your own show at MSNBC. They'd sign her up in prime time in a heartbeat. Their lineup right now is garbage. Get a $10 million book deal. Now you're really wealthy, and you have the whole media ecosystem to build your brand, and then run for president. She's going to do it, Clay. I'm telling you. It doesn't matter. Joe Biden's the president. What, we're going to say AOC is too dumb to be president? Look who's the president right now.
I'd like to say that you're wrong.
It's true.
I'd like to be able to say there's no way it's going to happen, but I do think that AOC would get exposed in a major way outside of her social media influencer bubble, because that's assuming that she actually sits for any interviews. Joe Biden doesn't do that now. And to your point, Buck, I totally can see all of that happening. I don't even think she would be that good on television. Because I guess if everybody writes everything for her and she just reads it off a teleprompter, which is basically the Instagram influencer model going to MSNBC, she just doesn't have that many interesting ideas. And so I don't know that she would be a very interesting person if she had to actually care. She's interesting for a congressperson.
Well, her followers think you're clay-splaining right now, and your cisgender male alpha yada yada is just way excessive.
She's interesting for a congressperson. Is she actually interesting for a person that has to compete for interest? I don't know that she could do a fun show. I don't know that she's an engaging personality outside. She's competing against people who are really boring, and she's way better looking than they are, and she's way younger than they are. But when she actually competes against young and smart people, is she actually very impressive? I have significant doubts about that.
I mean, when she sends you to Gitmo when she's president, I promise I'll come and visit, Clay.
I'll give you an example, a quick example here, Buck. I was good looking for being a sports writer. I am not a particularly good looking man in the larger
Clay does not
universe.
lack for confidence. It's one of the things I love about my co-host.
Good looking for a sports writer. Good looking for a sports writer is like a 4 on the scale of 1 to 10. These are not good looking men, all right? AOC owes a lot of her attention because of her profession. I don't think if she moves outside of politics, I don't think she'd actually be very good. Like Rachel Maddow is good at television. I think AOC might suck at it.
We'll see.
We may well see. I'm scared that your prognosis is correct.
People will go back and be like, Buck can see the future. I think it's pretty clear what's going to happen here.
I am concerned that your prognosis is correct. I'm just hoping that she would actually suck at what you're telling her she should do.